Hey everyone, Chris Lopez here, and today we'll be talking about the Denver MLS data trends for February 2020. Now I'm recording this about the middle of March, and since the end of February, the middle of March, a lot has happened with the coronavirus outbreak. So the data I'll be talking about in February does not really take into account the stuff that's happened the last couple of weeks. Now, from a very much boots on the ground feel, not a whole lot has changed on the market. I mean, traffic to open houses definitely been less the last 2 weekends, but we don't have enough data yet to really see if anything has changed yet. As you guys know, the real estate market is much slower moving than the bond market and the stock market, which has been a pretty wild roller coaster the last couple weeks. So going forward, every single month, we'll definitely be talking about the latest data, but understand, real estate, it just does not happen instantaneously. But right now, we're not seeing anything that's showing that the market is falling off the cliff. So as I go through this data, I often like to compare a year over year. So that's February 2020 to February 19, because that takes into account seasonality here with Denver. Now, this podcast is part of the new format I am using for the monthly market updates. I'll be doing a podcast, a YouTube video, and posting an executive summary to the website with 3 graphs I consistently reference and use. So I'll do my best to give you the punchline here while we're talking on the podcast. But if you want to see all the data yourself, make sure you click on the link and go to the show notes. And also, if you just go to denverinvestmentrealestate.com, I will be updating the website soon with a new link that has all the market updates together. So let's look at inventory. So we ended February with 20% less inventory than we did last year. So February 2019, we had just over 6,000 active inventory. Now at the end of this February 2020, we're at just over 4,800. So we're talking about 1,200 properties less on the market, which is about a 20% reduction. So inventory has come down a lot, but we're still better off than we were in 2018 and 2017 to give you a little bit of context. So looking down at sales count, we're actually down about 2% from the year prior. So February 2020, we have about 2% less properties sold. And that's more likely due to a lack of inventory than a lack of buyer demand. Probably more than 95% of the transactions we do are on the buy side. So oftentimes, we are getting in a multiple bid situation. And it's been pretty brutal out here so far this year. So we're getting multiple offers and all the other agents are getting multiple offers. That's just the way it is. And that's why I think it's a lack of inventory versus a lack of buyer demand, because the demand is out there. The inventory, unfortunately, is not. Now, the number of properties under contract, we're actually up about 16% from last year. So this February, we had almost 5,100 properties under contract. And last year, we had just under 4,400 properties under contract. So that's about a 16% increase in properties going under contract. Now, here's a really interesting number. At the end of February, there were more properties under contract than there were active properties available on the market. So at the end of February, we had 5,083 properties under contract. And available on the market were 4,835. And so that active properties is taking into consideration new listings and inventory from the past month, and also all the properties that went under contract. So we had 5,083 under contract, and also the new listings for February were 5,122. So altogether here, you're getting why we're having very, very low inventory. Just a lot of properties have gone under contract. The traditional spring selling season, which usually starts in March, it started like January 3rd this year, and it's just been hot since then. Now with the coronavirus, though, we'll kind of see how that plays out over here the next couple of months. So let's talk about price now. So price is actually up about 5% at the end of February 2020 compared to February 19. Again, not surprising. Why is that? It's just basic supply and demand. Lots of demand and not enough supply. We just don't have that inventory. So it looks like we should continue to see strong price growth. But again, we'll see how the next couple months play out. So days on market, essentially, it's unchanged, nothing major. Now for detached properties, it's actually down about 12% for homes. So properties are selling faster, and it's up about 21% for condos. So either way, it's basically just a couple more days, less on the market for homes, a couple more days on the market for condos. And I think the reason we're seeing a lot of those condos going up more, that's just going to be the price band because there's a lot more luxury stuff out there. Now, as rental properties, we're not buying $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 condos for investment properties. We're buying stuff, $100,000 to $250,000. So that stuff, when we look on the MLS, it's often sold within a couple days, and there's just very, very little inventory out there right now. So I actually didn't dig into the stats for the price bands on there, but I just know this from we're dealing with this every single day right now. We're seeing a horribly low inventory for those, first-time home buyers or investment property condos, which are that sub, 250-ish price range for 3 and 4 bedrooms, right around under 130 for 1 bedrooms. We're just not seeing a whole lot. Keep in mind, the market's been this hot, and what happened in February? It snowed a lot, which may have kept out some buyers. So who knows? So as far as some other trends, the last one I want to talk about is the showing trends. And this is that internal Your Castle data where they collect data from their listings that their agents have, and they compile it over with the Showing Time app, which is what is the main app or main website that all agents use to schedule showings to go out to properties. So looking at February 2020, it just averaged under 12 showings per property. Now, this time in 2018, we were at 13 showings per property. It's about one more showing per property. Now, in 2019, we were at about 10 showings per property. So, not a huge difference one way or the other. So, we're just basically on track to be business as usual as it's been the last couple of years. All right, so that wraps it up for this podcast episode. If you guys have questions on the data, let me know. If you got comments on the monthly format, let me know. If there's other data you would like me to start talking about, let me know. I do have plans as we get this a little more organized on my end with my team that we'll be doing a little bit more in-depth articles on some news topics and just what's going on around the market. So we'll definitely be hopefully expanding not just to doing some market updates, but actually doing some additional information as well with just interesting news articles and stories that popped up around the market the last month. So hopefully next month we'll be talking a lot more about that. All right, have a great day.